Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Michalis. I'm one of the market analysts here at HFM, and I'd like to welcome everybody to another live trading session where we're going to be looking at the best performing index currently in 2025. We're looking at the German DAX. It holds 40 German companies, and it is the best performing index of 2025 so far. If we look at its performance last year, it rose by 20% over 12 months. Now, so far this year, in just 50 days, it has already increased by 15%. Keep in mind, if we compare that to what we saw last year over 12 months, we're almost to the same increase. So we need to, of course, really consider that as a substantial increase. Like I said, it's the best performing. If we look at and compare it to the Nasdaq has been the best performing index over the past 2 to 3 years. The Nasdaq so far this year hasn't even increased by 5% yet. So 15% increase is definitely something substantial. Now, why is the DAX increasing? There's three main reasons why the DAX is increasing. The DAX, ladies and gentlemen, is increasing in value. And we can see on the charts here, we can see that it's increased in value for 7 consecutive weeks. The reason it's increasing in value is threefold. The first reason, ladies and gentlemen, is the ECB has cut interest rates almost on every single occasion over the past 6 months. And they're also expected to continue cutting in 2025. The market currently expects the European Central Bank to cut a further 75 basis points. So this is the first reason. The second reason, ladies and gentlemen, is earnings data. Major German companies and their quarterly earnings reports that has been released over the past 3 weeks have beaten expectations. If we look at the 7 most impactful stocks within the DAX, they have all beaten expectations and they have all increased in value over the past few weeks. If we look at the performance of the DAX overall, 83% of the stocks have increased in value in 2025 so far. So that's the second reason. The third reason, ladies and gentlemen, is that the Ukraine-Russia conflict is now at a higher possibility of either seeing a ceasefire or an end to the conflict. That, of course, is something extremely important for Germany. It's more important for Europe than it is for the US and Asian markets. And of course, that significantly has increased the market's risk appetite and market sentiment towards European stocks. We can see from indications, risking indications, that the risk appetite of the market is improving. If we look at the VIX index, that has decreased by 16%. If we look at the high-low index for the German DAX, that is has been significantly higher throughout this year so far. So we've got indications there that the risk appetite is improving. So to answer the question, is the asset overbought? The upward price movement is being driven by something which is substantial. So we cannot say it's a forced price movement, that it's trading 100% above its intrinsic value, because there's 3 very key reasons which are 100% understandable, which is driving the price higher. And we have to, of course, keep in mind that over the past 2-3 years, the European market has been underachieving compared to Asian stocks such as the Nikkei 225, and also definitely compared to American stocks. So they have some catching up to do. But, ladies and gentlemen, there is a very key risk. And we actually were talking about this risk as part of today's article, which we released on our analysis page. You can see our analysis page. So, is the DAX overbought after rising for 7 consecutive weeks straight? The main risk, ladies and gentlemen, is tariffs, because yesterday, President Trump again threatened a 25% tariffs on car industries, especially German car industries, but also Asian car industries. And we have to keep in mind that if we look at the total amount of new cars sold in America in 2024, 10% of those cars are German cars. That is a very big market for Germany. And we have to keep in mind that the DAX 40 includes Mercedes-Benz, includes BMW, includes Volkswagen, Porsche, and so on and so forth. So if we are going to see the likelihood of tariffs on Europe, but also on European cars, then of course that would change the intrinsic value of the German DAX. And then we can take into consideration if the DAX is indeed potentially overbought. In other words, too expensive. But if we're looking, ladies and gentlemen, at our 2-hour chart, like we can see here, we're very clearly trading above both trend lines. If we're looking again at the 3-minute chart, here we can see the DAX on the 3-minute chart. We can see most of the price movement today is bullish price movement. We're still trading above the 200 bar simple moving average. The only indications that we have that the price potentially is overbought is the highs have consecutively been lower so far today since the European market opened. But what indications do we have that the price potentially may be overbought? If we're looking at the price movement, ladies and gentlemen, we can see we're very close to being above 75. So that's one indication. The other indication is we can see recently we've gone above 75, which is the overbought area, on 2 occasions. And something which is very key is that we can see divergence here. We can see we've seen a higher high, but we're seeing lower highs on the RSI. So this is divergence. That's one of the key indications we can see on the chart that the price is actually overbought. Now, saying that it's overbought doesn't necessarily mean that the price is going to completely collapse. But what it could potentially do is retrace. So if the price, ladies and gentlemen, is overbought, where potentially will traders take into consideration in terms of how low the price will fall. Now, as a first stage, traders may take this area into consideration. Why? Because we can see that's the support area, ladies and gentlemen. That's the previous price range as well. And of course, this trend line, as the price starts to decline, this trend line will continue to increase upwards. Why? Because it's a lagging indicator. So that will also fall in line with the trend line. Because don't forget, when we decline back to the trend line, like we saw here as well, a lot of the time that's where the retracement potentially could end. So we have the support level, we have the price range, and that will also fall in line with the trend line as well. So if we are going to see indications of downward price movement, potentially that is the area where the price may decline to. Now, if we go to the 3-minute time frame, where potentially could we see indications that the price is indeed going to start to retrace? This, ladies and gentlemen, if we decline below this level here, then, ladies and gentlemen, we drop below yesterday's closing price. We drop below the latest low that we have seen here. So then we're actually seeing 2 lower highs and 2 lower lows as well. And very important, this area, ladies and gentlemen, will also fall in line with the 200 bar simple moving average. So if we're going to drop below the 200 bar simple moving average on the 3-minute time frame, that indicates that in the ultra short term, we're starting to gain bearish momentum. So that's another indication as well. So, ladies and gentlemen, we've looked at what's driving the price higher. We've confirmed that it's a validated reason. We've confirmed the real main risk which may trigger the intrinsic value of the DAX to change and potentially maybe it become overbought. And if we're going to see downward price movement, then we've confirmed the support level, the trend line as potential targets. Now, of course, that will depend on your approach. If you're a scalper, if you're a session trader, if you're a short-term trader in general, then of course that's quite a large target. So you may potentially look at multiple targets until we reach that area. And we've also confirmed that based on technical analysis, such as price action and the 200 bar moving average on the 3-minute time frame, we've looked at potentially where that bearish momentum will start to see signals materialize. So, ladies and gentlemen, that's the end of today's session. Hopefully it was educational for everybody. In the meantime, trade safe, trade responsibly, and hopefully we'll see you soon on our next trading session. Keep in mind, ladies and gentlemen, that we have a new cryptocurrency trading account. It's designed specifically for individuals who wish to trade cryptocurrency CFDs. Keep in mind that we only exclusively trade CFDs here on our platform, but it's an account which is exclusively designed for individuals interested in cryptocurrency CFDs. For example, it has specific characteristics such as leverage, such as being able to trade 7 days a week. So that's the end of today's session. Enjoy the rest of your day. Hopefully you found today's session educational and informative, and take care. Goodbye.